Hello, everyone. I am Chester Bokich. I am currently our acting chair of LD11 Democrats as of the 13th of September when Cigna stepped down. Cigna's health is fine. She's happy, healthy, and wealthy. She just has so much going on that she wanted something taken off her plate. And so I offered to step up and take over. Um, so, as acting chair, I'll be running this meeting and I'll get into things here. Let me just share. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is the agenda. We're obviously already about 7 minutes behind, so we'll just move right in. We'll go through the board reports. Dr. Hodge should be here from Roosevelt School District to present. And then if we have any local electeds on the call, we can give them time, but we also have Jonathan Hill here, who is running for Corporation Commission, which is a very important election. If you aren't aware, those are the people who decide not exactly how much your electricity bill is going to be, but they decide whether or not the power company can raise your bill week after week after week, like they like doing. The goal is to keep this meeting under an hour. If we go 90 minutes, that'll be okay. We'll try to keep it under 8:30 though. All right, first election starts today. The mail-in ballots are being sent out. I don't know what just happened to my presentation. Privacy. Oh, I accidentally clicked on the link. Boy, I feel like a boomer. No offense toward boomers. There we go. Okay, election day starts today. October 8th, early voting begins. You should be receiving your ballots. These ballots are going out to every single person who is eligible to vote in the state. You do not need to be on the early voting list to receive your ballots. If you, for some reason, can't mail in your ballot, in-person voting locations will be opening on the 27th. You can find locations using locations.maricopa.vote. October 28th is the last day to mail your ballot back. October 31st is the last day for early voting. And November 1st through 3rd, thanks to our brilliant Republicans, no early voting for the 3 days before the actual election, just to make things complicated and more difficult for people. And then, of course, November 4th is actually election day, in which case you can vote in person on that day. One thing I thought was interesting I'd never seen before is that you can sign up to receive texts about the status of your ballot by texting join to 628-623. Of course, we are supporting Proposition 409, which will set aside almost $900 million for behavioral health and emergency care here in South Phoenix, actually. So we stand to benefit by property taxes from everyone else in Maricopa County. So let's get that passed. Um, okay, so I wanted to go over my vision for the future of the LD and talk about mobilization versus organization. Um, Mobilization is great, right? I think Democrats have sort of fallen into a rut and relied a little too much on mobilization instead of organization in the past, I don't know, decade or so. Mobilization, in fact, our platform that we use is called mobilize.us. But mobilization is focused on large scale action. It's great for making an immediate impact, such as organizing for a protest or a petition. But I feel like it's more reactive, whereas organization emphasizes building sustained relationships focuses on building institutions that endure beyond single campaigns, and I think it's more proactive. So because of this, I am looking to start or form 3 new committees. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. These are committees that other LDs already have. I was inspired by LD 25, who sent me a lot of information about their committees. So we're going to be forming these 3 committees here. The first is our voter outreach committee, which of course is going to register and educate voters, engage with and mobilize voters, and recruit and train volunteers and PCs. Now, our district is really special in Arizona in that millions of people pass through our district every year. We have the state capitol, we've got the baseball stadium, we've got the basketball arena, we have multiple live music venues. People come from all over the state to visit our district. We could be out there helping to register voters from all over the state just because we are so centralized. So we have a huge opportunity here. The next committee is the fundraising committee. They will determine our needs for things such as mailers, how many mailers we need, how much it'll cost to print them, how much it'll cost to mail them, and then set fundraising goals based on those needs. They will organize fundraising events and identify key fundraising channels, such as large donors, large recurring donors, hopefully, or businesses. And finally, the communication committee, which will handle our newsletter, social media, website, press releases, internal communications, and our events calendar. I had considered doing a event planning committee, but I feel like all 3 of these different committees should be kind of organizing their own events. If you are interested in joining one of those committees, you don't have to be a PC to join. Email info@southmountaindems.org, and we will get you into whichever committee or committees you're interested in. And we will be holding meetings for those committees once a month. Let's see. Next, notice of election. So because I am acting chair, we have to have an election. That election will be held in November. So I will be running for chair. I'd like to hold on to this because I have these ideas and I want to see them through. If I am elected as chair, that will leave the first vice chair vacant, so we'll need to replace someone or find someone to replace that. If you are concerned about what the first vice chair does, I included exactly what it says in our bylaws. Basically, you assist the chair. And if the chair is absent, you stand in. That's really the only responsibilities. So don't feel like you're going to get roped into more than you can handle. That meeting will be, of course, the second Wednesday of November on the 12th from 6:30 to 7:30. That's going to be an in-person meeting at Puente Phoenix. The address is on the screen there. I'm hoping to do hybrid meeting, but I can't guarantee that we'll have that off the ground by next month. If we do, we'll include a Zoom link in the Mobilize sign up. And I have, yes, upcoming events. October 18th, of course, the No Kings protest at the state capitol. I will be out of town, unfortunately, but all of you should attend. We're signing up to have a booth at the Building Bridges Resource Festival at Hermoso Park in October 25th. We would like volunteers to engage with and register voters at this event. And of course, we're planning the MCDP listening tour for November 1st. We haven't nailed down the venue quite yet, but we'll have local legislators engaging with local voters, listening to their concerns and hopefully discussing their plans. That is all that I have tonight. I'm going to hand things over to our second vice chair, Lindsay Barentine. You got it right this time, Lindsay.
Hi, everybody. So with these transitions and, we're a new board and this is a planning year, I kind of wanted to step up and kind of be in charge of precinct committee people. Now, if you are a current precinct chair, we have a training that we are going to put out that is full district development pre-seed training. I was a PC. Many of us in this room probably have been PCs, but really didn't get told what you do or how to do it or how to be effective. So that is Saturday, October 18th at 2 p.m. It is in Mobilize under Maricopa County Democratic Party. Highly recommend if you are a current PC, please sign up and attend. Stay tuned also with the committees. We're talking about recruiting and getting people to sign up to be a precinct committee person. It is essential that we get all of this rolling and knocked out before the election season starts, which is right around the corner. So let me know. Go ahead and info at southmountaindems.org. And if you are a PC, please sign up for the training. I will be there.
All right, next is Shelby, our secretary.
Hi, everybody. I've got my little meeting pal here with me today. He would not leave me alone. Forgive me. We have a lot of exciting events planned, social kinds of events planned for October. We have our Margarita Meet-Up at Tacos Chilongo on 24th Street and Baseline. This has been really, really successful. It's a lot of fun. We do it from 6 to 8 on a Friday night. It's going to be on the 24th this month. And then our book club, the book of the month is The Persuaders. That's going to be the 26th of October at Barrow's Pizza on 24th Street and Baseline. I have been organizing a volunteer event at Andre House. Part of being able to receive our grant money from Contest Every Race is doing events that show that LD11 is active and gives back to the community. Andre House is a house of hospitality that feeds up to 700 people every day, 700 homeless people every day. And so I volunteer there every month, but I selected a date in December 7th, which is a Sunday, for dinner service. It is from 3 to 6:30, and you register through the Andre House website. This is available on Mobilize, by the way. I just posted it today, and it is for Sunday, December the 7th. I didn't want to do a Saturday in the month of December because there's so many Christmas parties and things like that, but it's a great way for us to get together, do something good for the community, and help us be active in the community for our CER grant money that so we can be eligible for that every month. And that's about it. I got the fun part. So here you go.
Thank you, Shelby. And
Of course.
Claudia,
Of course.
our treasurer.
Okay. So let me open up my report. Ugh. I'm working on one screen, so be patient with me. All right, so as of September 30th, our bank balance is $3,957.25. And for September, we raised $622.40. $400 came from our Contest Every Race grant. And we got our first one last month, and I just got a notification we got our second grant today. And we raised last month from Act Blue $171.50. All came from our recurring donors. And so for September, we had 13 recurring donors. So if you want to donate to Act Blue, we'll share a link or become a recurring donor, because we rely on small donation. We don't get any resource from national or state party. And just $5 donation is less than a coffee. And we also got a $50 refund from the city of Phoenix for a room rental. And this month we spent $802.28. Most of it is our monthly fees like Act Blue, Google, and Zoom. But we did have some unique expenses this month. We spent $125 to the city of Phoenix for our room rental for September's meeting, and we spent $37.96 to fries for snacks for last month's meeting. And we also made donations to the state party, $500, because we need like as much resources as possible to reach out to voters in our districts. And we also probably need help once election cycle approaches to send mailers out too. So that mailers are not cheap.
All right. Thank you very much, Sadia. Okay, let's move on to Dr. Hodge from Roosevelt School District. Welcome, Dr. Hodge.
Thank you so much, Acting Chair. And my Vice President, Dr. Megan Frankelwood, she will be presenting with me. And so can we give her access to share?
Yep, I've got it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you all so much for allowing us to present to you this evening. Part of what our framework, our governance framework requires is that we go to community and talk about what we're doing and educate the community on our framework, on our academic goals and our guardrails. And so we notice that when we host things at our camp or at our district, that we don't get a lot of attendance. And so we're taking the road on the show, or taking the show on the road. And so we're here tonight to talk to you a little bit about what we've been doing and teach you a little bit about our governance framework, which is student outcome focused governance. So this is our entire board as of right now, and we are committed to engaging the entire South Phoenix community. And so our agenda, I know we won't be here long. We have about 15 minutes, give or take. So we'll talk about how we got here. We'll define what student outcome focused governance is. We'll review our academic goals that we adopted, as well as our guardrails. And then we'll give you an update on our academic goals and progress this year, or as of last year. And then we'll talk about school board school, and then we'll hear from you all.
So I think one thing that Ashley and I, we both came on to the board at the same time, ran against each other, which is, I think, our favorite meet cute story. I don't think both of us did not realize the amount of time that school boards actually spend focused on student outcomes and student achievement. In our minds, it was a much higher percentage of the time. And so when we came onto the board, one thing that we both felt really strongly about, along with our current board at the time, was making sure that our board was really spending time on student outcomes. So we adopted student outcomes focused governance as our framework. And so what that means is when you adopt that framework, we're putting student outcomes first in any decision that we're making. We're protecting the values of the community by going out to community, talking to community, and setting clear guardrails that protect those community resources. We're communicating progress regularly and transparently. Every meeting there is an update on our goals and our guardrails. And we're really making an effort to be able to communicate as partners with our community members. And that includes our students, our staff members, our families, and the broader community who is outside of the school and school district.
So we looked at our data, and when I tell you all, we were very sad to see where we were. And it was a hard pill to swallow as we looked at our data to see where our students were. And so we settled on adopting four academic goals. And so our tagline is 45 and 5. And so the first goal is the percent of fourth grade students that score meet grade level or above on the AASA, which is the English language arts, will increase from 20% on August 2023 to 45% by August 2028. The second goal is the percent of fifth grade students that score meets grade level or above on a AASA math will increase from 11% on August 2023 to 45% by August 2028. The percent of seventh grade students that score meets grade level or above on a AASA ELA will increase from 22% on August 2023 to 45% by August 2028. And then the last goal, the percent of eighth grade students that score meets grade level or above on a AASA math will increase from 12% on August 2023 to 45% by August 2028.
Before I move on to the guardrails, I just want to double click on what Ashley said. I think these are scores that are devastating to hear. I think we know that these do not capture the full extent of what our students know and are able to do. We know these are not the scores that our students are capable of and deserve. And we are also working in an education system where statewide, 27% of our 8th graders can do math on grade level. So when we look at our scores, they are systematic and emblematic of some of the resources and resource allocation we see at the state level and some of the same challenges we see at the state. So our state level scores as an average aren't great. Our district scores, we're trying to be able to up those to even hit the state average. So while we want to hit averages that are much higher than this, and we know our students are capable of that, we first have to hit some of those lower percentages to make sure that we can move our students towards that overall percentage.
So our superintendent guardrails, they are the values that represent the community. So basically we went out and we gathered feedback to figure out what was priority to our community, which is you all. And this is what we came up with. Proactively share updates and budget plans on enrollment or stakeholders. Use the climate survey results to address the whole child with special attention to after-school programming and wraparound services. So something that was really near and dear to our hearts was making sure that we educate the whole child, making sure that we have the after-school activities, making sure we have wraparound services, making sure we're still talking about social emotional support. So that was really important to us, as well as to the community. And so we made sure to include that. We also wanted to prioritize a budget that operates within district's enrollment and based on funding. We had historically been operating outside of our enrollment, and not, because basically we get funding based on the number of students that are enrolled in our classes. And so we had been operating outside of that. And so we wanted to make sure that we were no longer doing that. Prioritize developing and retaining teachers and staff in the district, and then take special care to prioritize the needs of special education, our English language learners, and our African American students.
So I think we are 1 year into this process. We set those goals. And so now we have data from the first full year of implementation. I think in a previous year, we would have looked at this data and said, yeah, we grew a little bit and like we worked really hard and that was great. And I think to not in any way diminish the work that our teachers and students did in the classrooms, but we also now look at this data and say, this is not enough for us to be able to move the needle to where our students need to be. We can celebrate some of the wins, we can celebrate some of the successes, and still say we need to do more for our students and we need to adjust our plans so that we make bigger gains next year to get our students back on track. So in ELA, you can see the last 3 years of data. 2023, that's the year that we looked at when we were looking at setting our goals. 2024, which is the prior year, and then 2025, which is our last year. So this would have been data from the spring. So we do see some grade levels where we've made some significant jumps, 4th grade and 7th grade, most notably. And then we see some other grades where we've had some minor dips. And same is true for math. Math across the board has been a struggle, not just in Roosevelt, but statewide. We've put a lot of focus on literacy, as has the state, and some of those lower mathematical skills in K2 or K4 have struggled as a result. And so we're also working to make sure that we're providing resources in early elementary math so that when students get to upper elementary, middle school, we're not tracking that up here in the graph, but our kindergartners knowing how to count is really important so that way when they get to 3rd grade, we're able to make sure that they can do that multiplication and division that we know is so critical. So we're tracking a lot of those things, and we're seeing, again, these are data points that we might have said in a previous year. We're like, wow, good, we made a little progress, or hey, we didn't slip. We know now that this data isn't good enough for us, and it's data that we need to continue to adjust and move. To this point, I think one thing that we're really proud of is we've been incredibly transparent about our data. This is data that previously the community had not seen, the board had not seen, the board had not taken ownership of, and the board had not discussed. And so as board members to sit in front of the community and say, hey, this is our data and like, we're not proud of it and we need to do something to change it, I think has been a big shift for us as a board and one that we're incredibly proud of. And so we've been able to, in every meeting, talk about the goals that we've set for this year, talk about our overall goal and say, where are we at in relation to that goal? What have we done that's worked? What have we done that's not worked? And so what is the plan moving forward? And in every one of those meetings, the superintendent gives us the plan. And then we say, that sounds like we're on the right track, or that doesn't sound like we're doing enough, and we need to take that back to the drawing board. And so that's allowed us to be really in the weeds with the data. And it has really, we've been incredibly impressed with our superintendent, Dr. Portillo, and her response to that increased scrutiny and accountability there.
Okay, student outcomes don't change until adult behaviors change. We had to do a lot of mindset work. It was very humbling to realize that 0 of our time was spent on academic goals and progress when we first joined the board. I think we were like 6 or 7 months into being on the board, and we hadn't talked about academic outcomes at all. So when we pick goals, when we do things, we have to make sure that it stretches the system and it doesn't break the system. And so the motto in student outcome focused governance is that student outcomes don't change until adult behaviors change. And so at the board level, we've changed our behaviors. The superintendent has changed her behaviors. And so again, it's a system-wide impact, and it's taken us some time to adjust. And as Dr. Frankel has said, she said that we were in our learning phase last year. That was our first year. And so we were able to learn a lot and make adjustments and make pivots throughout that process. And then shortly after we adopted, well, not even simultaneously, we were talking about our budget, and we had to face a harsh reality of we were operating at a $5 million structural deficit. And so because we adopted a guardrail that said we needed to prioritize and operate within our enrollment, we had to make a tough decision to close schools and consolidate schools. It was very, very challenging. It was very hard, but we knew that we can't give our students what they deserve if we continue to operate at a deficit. And so now we've been able to actually add programming to our schools, and so that our kids can get additional support and services. In our budget, we are making sure that we align our budget to what we say really matters. I know at our upcoming meeting, one of my questions that I'm going to ask is, we have some students who aren't doing well, so how are we going to allot more money or resources to this particular cohort of kids so that they can reach the goals? And then our superintendent evaluation, her evaluation is now focused on outcomes. Did we meet our interim goals? Did we meet our overall goals? And so now she will be evaluated based on performance and our students learning and being able to perform at the level that we know that they can.
And not just her, but her, and hopefully her for a very long time, and then every superintendent who follows, because we want to make sure that in Roosevelt, it's clear that student outcomes are what matters.
Yeah, so we adopted a policy in regards to the superintendent's evaluation as well.
So one of the big pieces, obviously we have, as we all know, we've got some elections coming up next year for school board. Ashley, I know, is going to continue to run. I will not be continuing to run for my seat. So there will be one open seat in Roosevelt. And we want to make sure that we have someone who is on board with the belief that we have about what our students are capable of, the belief we have about student outcomes focused government. And we also just know that, we came onto the board and we transparently did not know all of the things that school boards did. And it would have been really helpful for us to have come on and known a little bit more about what being a school board member entailed. And so one of the things that we're doing just to be able to do our part in educating community and educating team members about what that looks like and what impact you can make is we're running School Board School, which is just a session with us on what does it mean to be a school board member? What are some of the mindsets involved in being a school board member? What does it look like for us? So whether this is you or it's somebody you know or somebody you've been talking to, so this could be great for anyone, but I would say specifically if you're considering in running for a local school board seat, whether it's in Roosevelt or in a different district. So if someone else that you know is thinking about running in a different district, this is also applicable to them. Someone is just curious about what a school board does. So that one maybe would have been me and Ashley maybe a couple years ago. Or you just say, hey, I'm really interested in supporting the Roosevelt School District and I want to know more about what's happening in school board governance and education. Or you just really, can't get enough of school board meetings and you just want to be there for an extra Saturday. We would love to have you join us. We know that there's a lot of things happening on October 18th. It's a very popular day. If you were not able to attend but would be interested in attending a future session or just interested in learning a little bit more about the Roosevelt School Board, feel free to RSVP and then just note that you're unavailable on that day. And we'd love to be able to connect with you and then, set you up with one of our board members to connect individually or make sure that we can answer any questions that you might have. But we're really passionate about Roosevelt and making sure that we get the best possible people on our board to continue the work that we're already doing.
Are there any questions? I know that was a lot of information in a short amount of time, but we will take some questions if you have any for us. Yes, we can email you the flyer. No other questions? Well, thank you all so much for giving us an opportunity to learn more about what we're doing. We would love for you all to join us. We have a board meeting every first Tuesday of the month at 5:30, except for this month because it's spring break. And so we would love for you all to join us and support us in any way that you can. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I don't see any of our electeds other than Cigna, who is on the school board as well. I don't know if Cigna wants to address the congregation here.
I
Since
quit.
she just stepped
No.
down, exactly.
Hey, everybody. Good to see you guys. Thank you, Chester and the rest of the committee. You guys are doing amazing work, and I'm sure we're going to make sure that the right people win next year. I'm quickly gonna just mention I will probably come to you later with what Phoenix Union is doing, because we are also working on student outcome focused governance as well, and we just ratified our goals, and we also set our guardrails. So I wasn't prepared to talk about that today because I know that Roosevelt, who is one of our partner schools, was going to talk about theirs, so not going to steal their thunder. Please, if you know anybody that is interested in running for a governing board, please have them make sure that they attend on the 18th, the school board school. It's very important. And as I announced last meeting when we were in person, we're putting together a PAC because we do know that MAGA is running slates of candidates for every single school board race. So we're going to make sure that we have winners to counter that action. Thank you, Chester. I'm out.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Cigna.
Uh,
All right, we are ahead of schedule. Let's get Jonathan Hill.
Hey, this is Clara Pratt. I'm also
Oh,
running.
sure.
Yeah, Jonathan just said that he was
Oh,
logged out and
okay.
he's trying to get back in.
Oh, okay. Clara,
Oh, you want me to go ahead and go?
welcome. Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
All right, I'm sure he'll be on shortly. Hi, everybody. Hi, friends. My name is Clara Pratt. I am also running for Corporation Commission. And it's one of the most important offices that nobody really seems to know about. I say it's because it's the sexy title, I think, throws everybody off. But again, my name is Clara. I live in Flagstaff, Arizona. This is my first time running for public office, so I'm not a career politician. I'm an entrepreneur. I run a government services firm as well as a solar development firm and wear lots of different hats. I'm a mom of 2 boys, 8 and 6. I've spent a lot of time working on policy throughout my career, and I was born and raised on the Navajo Nation. And interestingly, and what made me interested in this seat in particular is because I grew up without running water and electricity. We did not have access to basic utilities. And unfortunately, that's still the case in many of our regions around the state. Or if there is access to utilities, they're being priced out. This Corporation Commission has not met a rate increase that it didn't like and didn't green light. So it's really about educating the voters about what the Corporation Commission does, and hoping that, regardless of where they fall on the political spectrum, when we open our bills at in the beginning or end of every month, we've seen that increase, and it hits our most vulnerable hardest. And with all the nonsense that's going on in Washington, D.C., and how it's hitting across the country, all Americans, it's hitting Arizonans really hard. It's hitting our seniors hard. It's hitting our folks that are disabled, our families. It's hitting all of us really hard. And the Corporation Commission is really the front line way to protect consumers. And in my opinion, they have not been doing a very good job at protecting consumers. And as a believer in, mostly a believer in the free market economy, as an entrepreneur and someone who's bootstrapped myself, make it make sense that you have a corporation commission that is aligning themselves with eliminating potential energy sources. They're just cutting off an entire side of energy sources, saying, no, we're going to double down on dirty energy, but clean energy is a no-go. We've seen in state after state after state. I was really privileged to be on a Zoom call with the governor of South Carolina, and he said, green brings the green. And I loved that saying, because it's true. When you have markets that are open to all sources of energy, it brings prosperity. We need to create jobs for our communities, jobs for our Arizonans, and we can do that with lowering utility rates and holding utilities accountable and being the regulatory authority that the Arizona Corporation Commission should be. So with that, that's a little bit about me, and I'm really grateful to just spend some time with you all, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hill, who I see has been logged back on now.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Sorry about that. My Zoom window decided to freeze up just as we were about to talk. So my name is Jonathan Hill. I'm also running with Clara for the Corporation Commission. Important to note that there's 2 seats on the commission that are available this time around. So we're not competing with each other. And you might recognize me. I did run for the commission in 2024. I was really happy with the campaign we ran, but like so many other offices in the state, we came up just a little short. But I decided to run again because this office is becoming even more important to people's everyday lives. Like Clara said, everybody is seeing these shocking rate increases that are just really stressing out, especially our low income folks. And someone needs to be on the commission, hopefully 2 somebodies on the commission, to really push back on these rate increases and try to get something more fair for consumers. Claire did a great job of introducing the commission, so I won't dwell on that. My background before I decided to, try running for office is all in engineering and geology. So I work at ASU on a number of NASA space missions, operating the various spacecraft, and started out in aerospace engineering, but then over the years transitioned over to geology, more the science side of what our missions are doing. And I think both of those backgrounds would serve me really well in the commission. The engineering when it comes to power generation, water distribution systems, but also the geology, because all of rural Arizona, groundwater is such a critical issue for them. And the Corporation Commission is allowing so many private water companies to just pump unlimited amounts of water from their aquifers. And so I think having someone that can read a geologic map, read a hydrological survey would be beneficial on the commission. And I'll just finish up here by saying that, Chester, I thought something you said at the start there about mobilizing versus organizing was very important and also kind of timely, because that's really what Clara and I and our campaign team are trying to do. We're really trying to build relationships that go beyond just the Democratic Party. We're reaching out to labor. We're reaching out to the energy producers. We're reaching out to social groups that are supporting those that are having difficulty paying their bills. And we're just trying to get the word out. The biggest problem this race has is that people see the Corporation Commission on their ballot. They don't know what it is, and so they don't vote for it. Even Democrats. In 2024, if everyone who had voted for Kamala Harris and Ruben Gallego had voted for us for the Corporation Commission, we would have won all 3 seats. But there was so much ballot drop off that we came up short. So we just encourage you to have conversations, with your family, your friends, your neighbors, colleagues, and just try to make that connection for them. That the Corporation Commission is what is allowing APS and the other utilities to raise your bills. It's not the utility companies themselves. And I think just by getting out that voter education will really improve our chances this time around. So thank you for having us. Really appreciate the chance to talk with you all tonight. Oh, and I should say, our intern Killian has put all of our links in the chat. As you know, those signatures, and we're both running as clean election candidates. Those $5 contributions go a long way in helping us get our campaigns off the ground. So we'd appreciate anything you can do with those.
Absolutely. Thank you both. I have a quick question. So like Clara alluded to, there's a branding problem with this. Who has the power to change the name of the Corporation Commission? Would that be the Corporation Commission or would that be the legislators?
The legislature, excuse me, the legislature.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately on this aspect, we're one of only 2 states that has a constitutionally mandated corporation commission. Most other states are unelected and they're appointed by the governor. So we're rare in that we have a mandated elected board, but unfortunately, yeah, the name is then baked into the state constitution. So
So it's very hard to change.
it's very hard to change. Yeah,
Okay.
but certainly if we can take some seats on there, and if we can take the legislature, I
One
think
more reason.
you'll see,
Yes.
a rebranding, we'll call it.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, both of you. Does anyone else have any questions for the candidates? All right.
Everyone is corporation commission experts now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I believe it was Patrick shared a link in the chat to a YouTube link or a YouTube link to a video that breaks down the Corporation Commission, what they do and how it impacts you. So watch that, share it, send it to people, make sure they vote. We are ahead of schedule, which is awesome. I just want to kind of jump back into the mobilized versus organized thing and expand on that a little bit more. When you mobilize, it's great, but you tend to get the same people showing up for your events over and over again. Whereas when you organize, the point is to grow your coalition, broaden your tent, get more people involved and emotionally invested in what you're doing so that the movement grows and is sustainable. If you're just putting events on Mobilize and hoping people show up, then your turnout's gonna decrease over time. So you really have to put in the work to build your coalition and include as many people as you can. So that's the goal. That's what we want to do for this next election cycle, and definitely for 28. We've got work to do if we want to keep our democracy and keep the military out of our cities. So let's do the work, guys. Does anyone have any questions about anything that is not for our candidates? It's for me or anyone else on the board or just general. We can open the floor to new business if someone wants to talk about anything else. Okay, Dorothy, if you want to ask the group, can you come off of mute? Oh, Patrick? Well, let's see if Dorothy's got. Okay, she's trying to unmute. Patrick, do you have something?
Yeah, I'll be really brief. Hey, everybody, it's Patrick. Simple, humble PC, just trying to find his way in this democratic landscape. Real quick, we had a lot of great comments tonight, and I want to highlight something that our school board members said, as well as our candidates for Corporation Commission running for office. The big thing is, especially for a lot of the local offices like school board, city council, a lot of these kind of boards and commissions, things like that, things that, don't always get the headlines. It takes folks like each and every one of y'all on this call to basically step up and run. The thing is that most of us did not go to school or take a weekend class to know how to run for office. And for many people, just the process can be overwhelming. To help, create a stronger candidate pool and folks, good people like y'all to, run for school board or run for local office. Maricopa County Democrats, we're doing this is kind of our second go round with this. We're doing a candidate boot camp, and is designed for individuals who are either considering running for office in this upcoming election cycle or next upcoming election cycle. You don't have to have any prior experience. It also doesn't cost you anything, because if you Google like candidate trainings, they can charge you a lot of money, and maybe you should, but it's not my thing. So with that being said, I'm going to drop a link in the chat to sign up for it. It is a 4-week boot camp. It happens on Saturday mornings. It's in person from 8 to noon. Like I said, you get probably a good $10,000 of political consulting work for free. So if you are someone who said, you know what, I want to run for my school board, or I want to run for a local office, but I don't really know where to start, this is the boot camp for you. So I'll drop that in the chat. And again, thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Patrick, that's quite a book collection. Why don't you come to our book club meetings? I'm kidding. Dorothy, you got off mute. What's up?
No, I'm off mute now, and I have a few questions for you. You
Okay.
ready?
Fire away.
Number one, you spoke about the school, you spoke about the 409. Why have I not seen any signs posted on street corners about either one of them? If you go to Tempe, they're all over the place. If you go to Ahwatukee, I finally saw one in Ahwatukee, because that's local 12, that's LD 12. But I have not seen any signs telling them about voting for 409 or voting for the school board. Nothing. There's no
That's a
signs
good
around
question.
at all.
That's a great question.
All right, that's number one.
Okay.
You ready?
Signic
Now-
has an answer for that. We can give her a minute.
Okay, now I attended a SRP meeting speaking about SRP election, that people know that they can elect the board of directors. And I got a very, very rude awakening on this whole situation. And the fellow that did it said he messaged somebody in LD11 to come and talk to the people there, and nobody's gotten back to him. I can give you his name and his email. I'll text it to you if you want me to. If you want to call me, I can give it to you over the phone. Because it's very important. Do you realize that Turning Point is educating all these kids that they got into their organization, and now they're training them to become part of the government. And the first place they have candidates for is SRP Board of Directors. So we all have to get in there and vote for those board of directors and make sure that we do not have Turning Point in there. Also,
Yeah, if anyone has SRP as their provider, you should be voting in those elections.
yeah, and also I'm here 22 years. I never knew I could have voted for it.
Yeah.
Never knew it.
Well, let's give
Also-
Cigna the option to respond to the first question.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
sorry. Yeah, Dorothy,
Yes,
the Prop 409, they are green signs everywhere. They're up and down.
I've seen them as well.
I don't know what
I've been
area,
all over Phoenix. I have not seen one.
what area of town do you live in, ma'am?
I live right off Baseline Road and 24th Street.
Oh, they're everywhere. They're all up and down Baseline as well as
Really?
Union.
I
Yes,
I've seen them
traveled-
on 19th Ave.
they're all up and down Baseline. So is Phoenix Union's override. So is Roosevelt's override and Prop 409. All of them are all up and down Baseline. Maybe you're not noticing them, but they're
44th Street. I'm sorry, 44th Street I'm near.
okay. So 44th Street is now Tempe. I don't know if they're putting.
No, it's not Tempe. 48th Street is Tempe.
Listen, you're not listening. So Phoenix Union and Roosevelt have a cutoff, and that's the cutoff area, and that goes into Tempe Union. So that's maybe why you don't see signs for Phoenix Union or Roosevelt over there, because that's a cutoff for us. We don't go that far. As far as 409, I don't know. I don't go into that area, but I will tell you they literally are on almost every major corner of 24th, 16th, and maybe, because you live farther out toward Tempe, I don't know what you're not seeing, but they're on every major street coming westbound, off of Baseline, off Southern, off Broadway, all the way up through the city. I see them everywhere. They're
Well,
everywhere.
I believe you, but I'm just going to say one thing. I drive to Levine almost once a week, and I have yet to see a 409 or a school sign anywhere on that road.
Yeah, just please
Let's-
pay attention because they are on the major roadways.
I
I live,
believe you. I'm not. I'm
Okay,
not
we don't need to
denying-
dwell on this all night.
we're
Let's
not.
give Lindsay, I know,
Fine, they're
I
there. Okay.
appreciate
Thank you.
both of
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Lindsay, did you want to talk about the SRP board?
Correct. So what happened last year was the first time I had ever heard of it, also living here 7 years. We had a great information meeting at one of our elder meetings where you have to actually sign up for a ballot on the
Yes, I
SRP
have the
website.
QR
Yep.
codes. I have
Yes.
them all.
Yes, and you have to sign up just to get a ballot. They don't send them unless you
No,
request it.
no, I know. I
Yeah.
know.
But other people may not be aware of that.
That's why I'm saying
Yep.
we got to educate these people to let them know that
Mhm.
SRP, because if Turning Point gets in there, the next thing is going to
Okay.
be that these kids are going to run for governor. They're going to run for state senate. They're going to be infiltrated. They've already infiltrated the school system.
I
So
understand.
Dorothy, if you want to send me those QR codes, we can include those in our newsletter.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think. When I have sheets of pinpointing what exactly is going on. If I can send you what I have in my phone, I will. But I got to
Okay.
know where to send it to. So if you want to
Okay.
call me and give me your number
Yep.
and email,
I
I
got
will
your
be
number
very-
from the chat there. I will text you, okay?
And for everybody else, make sure you're going and requesting that ballot. I am not aware of any current candidates, but that is something the board will look into for
Well,
you guys.
they didn't come out yet. There's candidates, and there's one that I have here that he's willing to come and talk to the people about it.
Perfect. Send that over to Chester and we will definitely follow up.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're just
Chester,
about out of time.
Chester, you have my phone number.
I
Give me a
do.
call, please.
You got it. All right. Does
Okay.
anyone else have anything for the greater good before we call it a night? No. Okay. We are 2 minutes under schedule, Shelby. You excited? We made it. All right.
Yes.
Thank you for coming, everyone. Keep an eye on your emails and we will send you notifications about our next meeting.